As usual, Effiong Ekop, Market Editor of TVC News.
Thank you, Tolu.
Thank you. All right, then let's move on and tell you that Asian shares rallied in relief today, while the dollar nursed losses after the world's most powerful central bankers reassured investors that U.S. rates would fall this year, setting the scene for policymakers in Europe. Chinese blue chips rose 0.3% and Shanghai Composite Index gained 0.4%. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index was an outlier, down 0.3%. Traders are waiting for China's January-February trade data to gauge the strength of the world's second-largest economy. Elsewhere, markets were higher, and with Taiwanese shares market hitting a record high after Federal Reserve's Chair Jerome Powell stuck to the script by saying the Fed still expects to cut rates later this year, even though continued progress in inflation is not assured. Futures are almost fully priced in the first rate cut from the ECB in June, with a total easing of 88 basis points expected for all of this year. United States House passed a $460 billion package of 6 spending bills to the Senate ahead of Friday's partial government shutdown deadline. The lawmakers are negotiating a second package of 6 bills, including defense, to have all federal agencies fully funded before a March 22nd deadline, to make total discretionary spend by Congress to about $1.6 trillion for the full year. A significant number of House Republicans have lined up in opposition to the spending packages. First in-House Speaker Mr. Mike Johnson, a Louisiana Republican, to use an expedite process to bring the bill up for a vote. The process requires 2/3 of the House to vote for the measures for it to pass. And now the latest data from Chinese customs shows that exports from the world's second biggest economy from January to February were 7.1% higher than the previous year, suggesting global trade is turning, an encouraging signal for policymakers. Also, the country's trade surplus grew $125.16 billion compared to $75.3 billion in December. The country's improved export data joins those of South Korea, Germany, and Taiwan, who also saw their shipments top expectations over the first 2 months of the year, with the Asian economies benefiting from a surge in demand from semiconductors. Recall that Chinese Premier Mr. Li Seng announced an ambitious 2024 economic growth target of about 5% and promised to transform the country's developmental model, which is heavily reliant on exporting finished goods and industrial capacity. Crude oil prices held steady today, holding to overnight gains after upbeat Chinese trade data and after U.S. data showed a smaller than expected rise in crude inventories and larger draws in fuel stocks. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell to sell at $79.10 per barrel with a downward price margin of 0.04%. Brent crude futures also experienced a review of 0.07% downward to sell at $82.90 per barrel. Bonnie Light falls to sell at $87.19 with an upward price margin of 1.47%. And for the OPEC basket, crude dealers are offering $82.31 with a price decline of 1.28%. Finally,